portal. And it had, this is where you go. It says apply for your ECE educational support grant. And so you're going to click on that, and it tells you what the priorities are right here. And it's going to ask you screening questions. And one of them is, are you employee of all direct funded CDE ECLD, which means are you part of a state funded program that is, it could be state funded preschool. Those have first priority. Or a
welcome.
Or if you're working if you're working for the after school portion of a state funded preschool, Head Start is another one. So anybody who's receiving state or federal funds qualifies as a CDE, California Department of Education, early learning, childcare, I forget what it's called. Anyway, or you're a practicum student, those qualify. So first priority, those are the people who are going to get the money first. So you're working and you're taking, and then students, priority 2 is students who are not currently employed, but are enrolled in a 3-unit ECE child development practicum student. So there's the practicum students come in. We never get to really priority 2 students because priority 1 students, there's so many students who are working in a licensed program that it all works. And so that's whatever it is. So now it talks about the deadlines for these, which it says, you'll notice a lot of them say preferred, but no later than February 26th for fall. So yeah, preferred February 26th for winter, preferred February 26th for spring. And what they want to do is they want to get that information in, but no later than April 16th. So we have time to get your applications in. So that's so these are the priorities. And what you're going to do is click on this application, and it's going to confirm your eligibility. And it's going to say, are you currently employed in an early childhood education or child development courses for or GE courses required for an AA, AS, so it's your transfer level courses, or it's your just ones that are required for an associate's degree, which can be different, can be very different. So you click make it select. Yes, I am. What is your declared major? Now, this is what gets you. This is what gets a lot of people. You do not have to be a child development major. You can be a human development major, pretty much anything that goes in the liberal arts. You can be a psych major, a sociology major, science studies. I mean, it's like, and then even other, we were able to get a student who works in as an art major, but she works in a child development program, and she wants to be an art major. We were able to get her in and get her funded because of her work. So
what is everybody's major right now? I know Allie.
Right.
I know Allie. So we have let's see, Chelsea, and we have Yolami who just jumped in. Are you guys both child development majors?
I'm a psych major.
Good.
Perfect. You win. Ding, 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 ding.
You're in. I know it. And Yolami,
Alexandra, what's your major?
I know Allie's.
I'm actually doing child development and nursing.
Perfect. And as long as your official transcripts say something like that, human development psychology, liberal studies, which is where we get the arts. So you can see how it goes. Even business administration, because we need directors and we need, elementary education, social and behavioral science studies, nursing.
And Yolami, like what's your major? Do you know yet?
I'm going into teaching.
Okay, good.
Perfect. Right. We have 3 candidates who all make, so we're going to say that we're, just for yucks and grins, we're going to say child development. Are you employed in childcare in the field of California? And then you just do that and you say, yes. And then it'll say, congratulations, you
Love to give you
qualify.
some money, right? That is
And
one
I'm
thing.
like,
That is one
well,
thing I wish I did more of when I was at Fullerton Junior College. Is apply for more things like that, like scholarships or grants.
oh, I didn't make a selection. This is how and then it'll say work type environment. And if you're a public center like KinderCare, Bright Horizons, a private care center agency, maybe you're working for an after school program that contracts with the school district, that qualifies. Family child care provider home. I was a licensed family child care provider for 17 years. This grant goes back, this predates my dinosaur days of being a family child care provider in the early 80s. This is how I got through school. They actually used to pay for books. I used to get about $370 a semester and include my books, my tuition. I mean, it's crazy. But now we just don't have that much money. And so as we'll make a selection. I forgot about this one. So we'll say, well, let's say we're, or if you're working at campus lab school. So you see family, friends, and neighbor, it's going to say no. So we'll say public center, employment setting, child care center licensed, exempt center, or school age program. So we can work in a school age program. We're just going to put that in there. Reason for license exemption, because this is where everybody gets hung up and they go, oh my gosh, because a lot of people might not understand the licensing program. I'm a before and after school program. It's maybe the program is on the school site. Maybe it's an military. They have child care centers on bases. A home base, you could have it in there. Parent co-op, I don't think that's going to get Parks and Recs. I don't think that's going to get it, but or none of the above. So let's just say we're before and after school program. What college is this application for? We know what it is, and then you get to go through way down here and find us. While
you guys, while we're going through this, can I ask you guys to put your contact information in the chat?
Oh yeah.
Well, I have your name, or you'll let me your last name. So first, last name.
Yeah, thank you.
And then your major and your preferred way for us to contact you, either cell or email, either way. It's up to you.
Because I will walk you through this. I will walk you through this. And so you're going to get right away, you notice that it popped up and said, I'm eligible. And then it started saying, and then it wanted to know additional things like you can only, in this application, you can only include the courses for Santiago Canyon College. If you're taking a course at Santa Ana College and a course at Santiago, you can only put in Santiago Canyon College courses. It will reject you, and it won't reject you, but I won't be able to pay you, because I've had some slip through that said, oh yeah, I'm at Santiago Canyon College. And then when I look at their grades later to pay them, it shows that, no, you took those courses at Santa Ana College. And I'm like, I can't pay you. You just, that didn't work. So what semester are you applying for? I'm going to find out, and I'm going to say fall 2021. Congratulations.
That's right.
Priorities given to summer, fall applicants submitted by the 15th of October. Well, we're well past that. And the winter, spring applications received by February 26th. All applications received after April 16th. But you see, there's a lot of leeway. Will be returned. So we have some time, but it doesn't take that long to get these in. So yes, you can apply for the fall classes, but I'm specifically saving this money for my winter and spring courses. And then you create an account, enter your name, your password, you have to do all that. I mean, I'm already in here. I don't want to do that because I don't think you can see anything. Confirm your password. I don't know what it is. Save and continue. Oh, I had to put my name in. Jody L. Johnson. There it is. Save and continue. And then this is where I'm going to have to like walk you through. The email address is already in use. Please log in to continue. Oh, yeah, I have to go back and log in. I was trying not to do that. Okay, so here I am, but I'm the director. And so it's probably, because I'm the campus coordinator, it's probably not going to see. So I'm going to start a new application. That's the key. If you've never applied before, if you've already applied, and we've had students who, I know I've seen their applications in here for 2 or 3 years. Confirm eligibility, make selection. So you kind of go through, are you currently enrolled in child development education courses? Yes. It's going to keep, what is your declared major? Going back to the same questions. Let's say we're a psychology major this time. Are you enrolled in childcare field? Are you enrolled in the childcare field in California? Must meet employer. So yes, of course we are. Work environment type. Can we just do this? We're after school program. Public center. Now, public center means state funded or employment setting, before and after school program, family childcare, license exempt school age, reason for license exemption, before and after school program. So we just did all this. Oh, because, yeah, that's right, because I have to go do this and now I'm going to have to go back myself out of this, the system in the back. So.
You guys have any questions so far?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing that.
Yeah, I do.
Definitely.
For this grant, how much is it? Is it the 46 per unit you take, or is there like one lump sum?
You can apply, you can put in all of the courses that you are taking, that you are enrolled in for that semester. Now, if it's a fall semester class, you enrolled in it, you completed it, you're done deal. The criteria is right now that you can only apply once per funding year. And so you want to pick the semester where you have the most units that are eligible for payment. So maybe you took one course in the fall, but you took 2 courses in the spring. You can apply for multiple semesters, but you just have to submit a new application for each semester. But what they're saying is they want to spread the money around. So students who have already taken advantage of this grant, they want to make sure that everybody gets. I only have 75 units that I can give out. 75 units divided by 3 is like maybe 22 students, 23 that can be accommodated. But what happens is I submit everybody and get their applications approved, because what happens is students don't always complete all their units. And then I start pulling up those students who
Didn't.
I can start paying. And so what I've done historically, and what has been the agreement, the college, there's an advisory committee that meets to discuss how we're going to pay this. And what we decided is at the end of the semester, we're going to take the number of units and divide that money equally among all the students, so that instead of getting $46, last semester students got like $42.31 a unit. It doesn't change drastically to, if you're taking one class, you might maybe not get $15, but it's still better than
Nothing. I mean, wow.
nothing. And you're already getting your tuition paid. Your books are free. This is like,
Great.
you got $300.
This covers like gas, and maybe if you have to buy
Yeah.
pencil or your cell phone or like whatever.
Right. Yeah. So that's how we're working it at our college, is because it is better to give something to everybody than to only give to first come, first serve, and you're out the door. That's the easy way to do it.
Mhm.
It's not the equitable way to do it.
Right.
And I'm about equitable.
Oh, and in previous iterations, they used to kind of give us like a kickback for it. Like for every student who applies, you get like $5 and you can, for us, for our department, oh, you can buy supplies. Yeah, we don't need that. We want you
We
guys.
don't need it.
We don't need it.
100% of our money, the money that we bring in goes directly to the students. I don't get paid to do this job through this grant.
Mm-mm.
I do not, I don't get paid to do this.
And I tell you what,
Um,
I do not need another piece of like construction paper or whatever. I don't need it. You guys have seen that classroom, man.
But this got me through my education. This helped significantly when I was first going back to school and had 3 young kids and wasn't working. And this was this $300 made a difference in my life.
Yes.
And gas is how much a gallon and going
About
up?
5. It's about $5 right now.
And it's going to go up because of just the instability in the world right now. And so
Whatever
So
we can
you-
do to support you guys is really our.
whatever we can do. And so that's how it works. So make a selection, what semester you're applying for. I'm just going to say fall 2021. No, I'm going to say winter 2022. Save and continue. And now it's going to populate it because I'm already in there. I'm already in here as it. Then you're just going to go through you see these tabs? Eligibility. We click that. Personal information, it's going to ask all this stuff. What child permit level are you? If this is your first time, you're going to say assistant, because this is making the assumption that you are working towards a degree, and that's part of it. And you just say assistant, because if you check nothing, you get nothing. So,
That is correct.
so. And if you have a child development permit, which we'll go into after this, is this your first education support grant? And it most likely it's going to be yes. And then save and continue. Oh, wants to know my campus ID, which I'm not going to put in there, but you can click. You can just remember to save and continue, and you can go back, and then you go into. Hang on, I gotta save and continue. Oh, it's probably not going to let me do it. I'll just put. I don't even know if that's let's just see if that works.
I wish they would give you like a dummy number just to play around with, like a bunch of 9s.
I know. I can go in and clear. Oh, it asks for all this birthday stuff. The idea is you can go click on, okay, nobody look. Well,
You're not
it
taking
doesn't
any
really
classes right now, so you wouldn't get a reimbursement. So if somebody.
I can't, no, but this is my dummy. We'll just say, oh, I can't be
You could always do your
2006.
maiden. You could always do your maiden name.
Oh, I could. That's a good idea. Then I'd have to create a whole new account. Anyway, I can go in and delete this. City of birth, last 5 digits of your social security number. Anyway, so you get that. I'm not going to be able to. Yeah, I could do that, huh? Anyway, but now I've all screwed it up because I said I'm not new. Anyway, so
I need
you can
more
go in.
questions though, because that was a good
Yeah.
question that you had, Allie, because you're like, is this a one-time thing? Is this like a sliding scale? Is this like, when is this gonna happen? Like,
Yeah.
good question.
And once your application is in, it's all pre-populated. So every time you go in, all you're going to have to do is go in and answer the screening questions about what kind of program you work in, what semester are you applying for. Then you go to current enrollment and you put in your classes that you're taking. And then educational information. It asks, I can't remember what's in there now, and I can't make that screen available because I'd have to look at another student's record. Employment information It's going to ask, where do you work? The address, again, what kind of facility it is, the address, your supervisor's name, and then demographics. Are you green, purple, non-Hispanic, white, Hispanic? You get the idea. And then review and summary, and it'll just go through and give you an opportunity to go through and look at all of it. And then you just click submit. Like I said, work with me. If you have questions, I'll walk you through all this. And so that then gets in there. And then what happens is, for me, I can go up here and look at the educational support applications, and I can see all of this information that is up there. Anything like if you do CDEQ 112, it'll take that. If you made a typo instead of CDEV, I can go in and correct and put CDEV and fix that so that our course numbers are right. If you didn't put in the instructor's name, I can put the instructor's name in there. If it got misspelled or whatever. But what I'm really looking for is, to make sure the application is complete, and then I approve it, then it gets submitted up to the state approves it, and then it comes back to me to fund. Checks come out about 6 to 8 weeks after the end of the semester, because it's based not on how many courses that you signed up for in your current enrollment. It's based on how many courses you complete. So you have to complete the course with a passing grade. And I don't believe, I think that's an A, B, or C. I don't believe you can get, because it's your major. So if it's your major, I don't believe you can discount.
Yeah, always in your core 8 classes, try to get the highest grade you can. Obviously it looks better, when you're in your major and you're getting A's, right?
Right.
But passing is a C. Yeah.
Passing is a C, and there's nothing wrong with the C. Nothing wrong at all.
I'm just gonna mute.
The talents.
Yeah.
If some of them, and we all have experienced 2 years of a pandemic, so we're maybe not at our best right now. But if we can eke a C out, that's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Consider it an A at this point.
I'm seeing that sometimes, getting a C at this point, I think I wish for everybody to give themselves the grace. Like, I got a C, but I was in the pandemic and everything's still sideways and whatnot. A C doesn't determine what kind of educator you're going to be. In fact, a C could tell you, like, some people take it really, personally hard on themselves. Like, I need to be better in the classroom than I need to be better with the kiddos than I was in the classroom. And that could even make you even a better educator. So we're not here to say like an A is what you have to have, because you don't. Because you didn't ask me. How many of you, so I know Allie took my class. You never asked me if I got straight A's. So straight A's doesn't mean that you're,
I got an F in calculus.
I got a D minus in statistics.
So we all we come to the table with different gifts. Yeah. And the bottom line is, you're going to go through and create these beautiful portfolios with your work, through your classes. And to be really honest, nobody is ever going to ask to see them.
No.
I've been in this field for 35 years. Not one employer has ever asked to see any of my portfolios. That doesn't mean you don't do a good job.
No, and that's why I'm pushed for the digital version, because why are we making this thing that nobody asks for anymore? It's like,
nobody asks for, but it is a good filing system for. I have mine broken down into my personal information, my training. I keep all my training certificates in there, but now I have a digital file for all those. Letters of recommendation. I do keep 1 or 2 works. I keep a work sample in there, more like a writing sample at this point in my career. And but it's a nice place to keep track of. Oh yeah, here's my NAEYC membership card. I just put it in a page in my portfolio. I have my transcripts in there. So anytime I need to go pull out my transcripts or my immunization records, I know where they're at. They're in my portfolio. But will anybody ever ask to see any of that stuff?
No, and I agree with you. Keep up on that. What I do is I have like an email folder, and then I've got like a regular folder, and then I've got a physical folder. So I'm just like putting it in 3 different spots, whatever format it comes in.
Right.
But the second I don't do that, I will forget.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, like there was time where I had a resume, and then, you know, we have a job developer to help with that. If you don't have one, and then I was switching it into a teaching CV, which is a little bit different. And I had a friend sit down with me and say, well, this is your job. What did you do there? Well, this is your whatever. And I had forgotten that I literally traveled to Washington, D.C. and did a poster presentation at the U.S. Department of Education. Completely had that missing off all my, I was like, yeah, kind of impressive. Like, I mean, it was a big deal. Like, you know, why did I forget? So give yourself the credit. Just start filing yourself stuff in areas. And then in my classes, I'm starting to really push for that. The portfolio, the digital thing, it's kind of like LinkedIn. Yeah, same thing. Give yourself your own credit, because again, what you learn and what you've learned in life works together. That's the difference between a community college and university. We take your life experiences and we help guide you with more skills from the courses, put those things together, and that makes you the professional without having to be in school for, you know, just in some theoretical orientation or in a book or just all this research, instead of being out in real life. We want you in real life as soon as possible, because that is real life.
Really.
That is
anytime you have an opportunity, get a letter of recommendation from somebody. I even saved cards that parents had written to me when I was a teacher in a classroom, that were just like, oh my gosh, my child learned so much. I saved 1 or 2 of those, and and so those are you know, that kind of stuff is good to have. And it's also kind of nice because every once in a while you look back on it and go, oh yeah, I need a pick me up. This is like a really good pick me up, you know, to go back and look at that.
So we just have Norma. We have Norma joining us.
Hi, Norma.
Professor Johnson's walking us through the process by which to get some funding, some reimbursement on your units if you're working with children and taking classes. We need you some reimbursements. So she's sharing the screen right now, and that's what that is.
So, yes, so this is the application form to, it's online. I am the coordinator of this program for our campus. You can, and I will catch you up, or this is being recorded, so you can always catch up.
And you guys got the flyers that I sent. I'm sure if you saw the flyer, there's actually the portal websites on here.
Right.
Can you also
just
put
click
that
on
portal in the chat? The CDTC portal, not word. What is it?
Yeah. Can you stick it in the chat?
I cannot, because you have the source. Wait, let me see if I can type it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's the same thing. You guys can still get it.
Oh, I thought we both had, anyway, I don't have my chat open.
Portal.org. And I can find it. Yeah, I think that works, but I'll double check.
Yeah, it'll find it. So you want to do that. I'd like to get your applications in sooner than later, because like I said, I can only serve about 20 some students. And to be honest, I haven't looked at where we're at, but my guess is that by the time I go back and look at that, we're going to have a lot of students. They apply, but they might be priority 2 students, and I have to fund priority 1 students first, which are students who are working in a licensed child care facility, taking child development classes and GE classes. You have to be taking at least 1 child development class and GE classes. And right now, I will take winter and spring as priority. But you can actually submit your fall ones, but you have to do it by tomorrow. So let's just say spring and
let's
went
do
to,
let's do ASAP and then call it.
and call it
Next
good.
week.
Like next week. Because it doesn't matter. Just get your application in, get it right, and then, because you're not going to get paid until the classes are completed anyway. So I have to ask for a grade check for every student who has applied and is eligible. And once I get that grade check at the end of the semester, then I can process it. Then I can send it out for payment. So you're not going to get your funds until afterwards. And I believe they are now mailed to the students. They used to be, you had to come to campus and pick them up. With COVID and everything, they started mailing them. And if you have a student account, like maybe you're getting student financial aid or something like that, it may direct deposit into your student account, which I believe is what is happening now instead. So you might see a deposit in there of some amount, but I do a whole spreadsheet of who got what and where it went, and justify where I spent where all the money went and why. And so this is the money part. So does anybody have any questions about the money part, applying for this grant? And it is called an educational support grant, i.e. free money.
I know, free money. And here's the
do
thing.
I
I love free money.
Yeah, I know, I love free money. Jump in.
Do I have
What?
to work in a school setting with children in order to receive this grant? Or
So can you give me an example? Like, if you don't mind sharing, like, where are you? You can say, I work at, I work as a nanny. I work at a,
home
like an entertainment facility
or a home
something
care
like that.
place. Like, where do you
home
live?
care.
right now I'm
is-
just babysitting. Does that count even though he's my cousin?
Nope,
No,
That
it
won't
has-
because you have to be in a licensed facility. So you're,
Oh, okay.
that is called, you would be a priority 2 or 3, and only priority 1 gets paid.
however,
Oh, okay.
however, with your experience with babysitting your cousin, you could come work at the SEC Child Development Center.
That's
Oh,
correct.
Yes, I had just applied. I think I have to do paperwork still to finish.
Okay. So what you might
I'll lean you
do
towards-
is, in order to not get kicked out of the system, because it'll just say you do not qualify right now, you can
Okay.
always put in there that you work for there, because they're going to verify that. And then just, we have time for the spring, so don't worry. Get your application in, get through all that process, and then submit it. But just know that it has to be in fair, I would say, we said March 15th. And then just talk to me. I can handle everything on an individual basis as well.
Okay, thank
I
you.
have
Okay, jump in.
Go ahead, Jen.
I have a question. I'm sorry. This is Norma.
Yay!
Um,
Oh, hi, Norma.
I work for Sycamore Elementary with special needs. Do I qualify that way or not?
You sure do.
Awesome.
Sure do. You work for a state-funded program. And so you will be a priority 1 student.
Yes.
It'll say, do you work for CDE/ECLD, which really
Start,
is
early start.
any school within our district,
Okay.
whether it's a school program or the after-school program, automatically puts you as priority 1.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So did you? I know you jumped in late, but did you see the website and how to do it?
I will look at it and then I will probably print it out and write my notes and then probably contact you.
Yeah. Either one of us will
Got
walk you
it.
through it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank you
not
both.
a problem. It's so that is the part. Now, the one thing that you may not have heard, which is really important, is if there's a question on there that says, what permit level are you applying for? Well, that's kind of a separate, the permit process is separate from this, but the idea is, well, the grant is to pay students to take classes so that they can then apply for their permit. So you're going to put, so when it says the permit level that you're applying for, it's going to be the very first one, the assistant teacher. Now,
Okay.
if you already have 10 or 12 units, we're going to have to talk, because you may be up there and able to qualify for a teacher permit.
Okay.
And so it does, for the grant purposes, it doesn't really matter what level of permit you're applying for. Just put the assistant permit on there unless you already have a permit, because these permits are like stair steps up the ladder, up the professional development ladder.
Okay. I
So
don't think I have, yeah, I don't have a permit.
No, yeah, and we have done a really, we're trying to get a handle on where our students are in terms of their permit. That's
Okay.
like a big push so that we can help you move along and get your classes and get you moving through this permit system, because the higher you are up on the permit, even the difference from an assistant teacher to a teacher, that's more money. If you've got a teacher permit and you go apply at a child care program or early education program and you have your teacher permit, more money right up front, you know, because that's what they're looking for. And they're not always going to have this assistant teacher permit. They keep saying it's going to go away, but Dr. Lamarelle says it's going to be a while before it goes away, because we have to get this whole other age 3 to grade 3 teaching credential, which they're in the works of doing. So just know that you're probably going to be an assistant teacher, and this is a good segue now to go into the permit. If we're all good on the application.
The first part was about getting money. Now it's about getting that permit.
Now it's about, yeah, so let me go to my.
And again, any questions that come up at any time, I'm going to put our emails in the chat. If you know, either teacher, anytime, call, whatever, do whatever, reach out. Because here's the thing, we can't answer your questions if you don't ask. But you know, you've seen the both of us. We're like nutty.
Yeah.
We're ready to help. We're in it to win it, right?
And neither one of us can read minds.
No,
Yes.
you know what? I've been trying to look for a class on that, especially if I could register for a class on
can't do
that,
it.
$300 at the bookstore. But alas, there is not.
What card do I have in my hand?
That's right. Let me smell the answer. I wish.
I can't get it. So just as teachers have a credential, the early child permit is part of the Commission on Teacher Credentialing, ca.gov. Here it is, ctc.ca.gov. That is the website for the California Teacher Credentialing. And as you can, if you look, I'll bump this up now. So you want, there's the levels of the child development permit. And right here you can see assistant teacher, associate teacher, teacher permit, master teacher, site supervisor, and program director permit. Your permit is good for 5 years or until you have classes and are ready to advance to the next level, which is really cool. So, and once you have a permit, you're required to, within those 5 years that your permit is good, you have to take 105 hours of professional development.
Yeah. And then
One class is 60 hours. So within that 5 years, you're already going to have to renew your CPR and first aid, right?
Easy.
8 hours, 2 classes. That's 60 hours each. 1 class is 60 hours. So if you take 2 classes and renew your first aid and CPR, you're done in 5 years. So it's not hard to do the professional development piece of it. It's just that is part of the requirements, because we always want to be abreast of what the changes are. And believe me, there's a lot of changes going on right now. Just the COVID alone, the amount of changes that we've gone through with mask, no mask, wash this, don't wash that, you know, it's
Ratios,
constantly
bodies, yeah.
changing. Ratios, yeah,
Parents,
constantly
volunteers,
changing.
body.
And so, this is the place where you go. So if you're going to go in here, you have to create a login. And that the great part is once again, you're going to have this account will be there, and you just bookmark it, or a great thing to do is just bookmark it as your professional development, put your CDTC page in under there, put your permit, your the CT, the credentialing under there, then you can go find all this stuff. Organization is kind of like, we're currently processing applications received on or before 12/15/21. So they're way behind in processing applications, but that doesn't mean that it won't happen. And there's some ways that you can jump over that date right there, and I'll explain that a little bit. So so there are different levels of permits. There's the child development permit. Then there's the school age emphasis permit, which is that pre-K through 3 permit. And this allows you to provide services in the care and development and instruction of children for in before and after school programs. There is and so it tells you exactly here what it is. An individual applying for a child development permit must submit a completed application, your transcripts. You have to fill out the 41-4 form, which is, it looks crazy. It's long. It's like 10 pages, but don't let that scare you.
Just one step at a time.
There's one little page, and it walks you all through it. But a lot of the stuff doesn't apply to you, because this is kind of like the same form that they use for teacher credentialing as well. So you have to, and it tells you things. You have to complete the child and mandated reporting, employment information. You have to sign an oath and affidavit that anybody who works for the state of government, the state of California, has to sign on the form that I agree to follow I pledge allegiance to the state of California to uphold its laws and regulations, and you just sign it. You can't get away with it. It just says you agree to uphold the laws of the application, and that your application is the information on your application is true. You are responsible for your transcripts, letters verifying your work experience, anything else that they ask you to do. So now it says exam scores. Well, that doesn't apply to you, because the exam scores would be your CBS scores if you're going to be a sub, or if you're going to work in grades K through 3. So see, exam scores, don't let that, it's not your exam you took in Professor Delaney's 107 course. We don't want those. So don't let that freak you out.
Just keep going.
Just keep going, yeah. And so official transcripts, a lot of them now are doing electronic transcripts. Now, an official transcript, there are some requirements. One is, don't open it.
Right, when you order your transcripts, get one to open, and I got like 5 or 10 copies to not open.
So I have a quick question.
Yes.
Sure.
So if we have more than 12 child development units, which permit would we be doing?
You could be doing the assistant teacher. It depends on which courses. Hopefully they're all Cap 8 courses, which means Yahoo, let's go.
What else did you take? What else have you taken, Allie? So you 107, 110, 205 doesn't count in the Cap 8, but do you take 112?
So I have 107, 108, 110, 111A,
Good.
11B.
Great.
You're good.
I believe 112.
Health safety.
Yeah.
So what's missing is
You need 108.
Yeah, 108, right?
221, you need your diversity class
21.
and practicum.
No, I think she said 108 already. So yeah, so
Oh, okay.
21 in practicum, I think you're done. So 107.
No, that's not true, because once you get to the teacher permit, then we're going to get to the matrix. The matrix tells you you also have to have your GE classes. So once you get to the teacher permit level, the assistant teacher, you just have to have 6 units of early childhood courses. But beyond the assistant teacher, you might have to have, we'll look at the permit in a minute. But after that, we want a whole well-rounded teacher. So you have to have the GE classes as well. So you might have to have 12 units of GE classes. For a master teacher, 24 units of GE classes. So you can see that the requirements for education for every level go up. The assistant teacher is your foot in the door. It is the first place to start. And we'll get to that. We'll look at the matrix in a minute and we'll see what it is. And so this explains all of that. And then you're gonna do a self-verification that says that you, so when you're renewing or when you're moving up, you have to have a professional growth plan, not as an assistant, but now we're gonna say, okay, where are you going next? Do you wanna specialize in children with special needs? Do you want to specialize maybe with language and literacy? Where do you want to specialize in this? And then we're going to say, okay, a professional growth plan. I've had several, and they've been renew my CPR and first aid. And this is over 5 years. It's kind of like documenting the professional growth that you're going to have as you move forward. It's kind of in line with Caroline and what she does as well. It's kind of like a little bit redundant. We're going to plan out some things that you can do. Are you held to this professional growth plan? No. But it kind of gives you a guide that says, okay, these are the things I'm going to do, that I need to do. And you must retain your professional growth record for 1 year following the submission of your application. Very important. Professional fitness, it asks you, it asks you like if you've had, here we go, misconduct, complaints from those with firsthand knowledge. So this is where academic dishonesty comes in. Very important. If you've been referred to the academic department because you plagiarized the paper, you might have to explain that.
Yeah.
This is why we say
Not worth it.
we do not condone, it is not worth cheating. But they're also going to look at misconduct. So what if I got arrested for disorderly conduct in 1985 for protesting because there was no universal preschool and I was in a march and I didn't move, and they're going to go, well, let's see, just be forthright and go and explain the situation.
Yeah, just
They're going to look at it. It happened a long time ago. It happened outside the United States. You did not go to court, and your attorney went for.
Do you know what for sure would disclude people? Because I know,
yes,
I know
murder,
plenty of teachers.
rape, any type of abuse against a child. Pretty much, if it's a felony, automatically no. If it's a misdemeanor, and if it happened a long time ago, you just disclose it.
You just have
If
to
you got a traffic ticket, doesn't matter. If you were driving under the influence, that matters.
Right.
But if it happened a long time ago, it's one of those things that I don't control. That the teaching commission looks at that and decides what to do. But or if you omit misdemeanor marijuana related convictions that occurred more than 2 years prior to the application, Oh, it says you may omit misdemeanor marijuana related. This is new to me. I hadn't even read that. Convictions that occurred more than 2 years prior to this application, except convictions involving concentrated cannabis, which must be disclosed regardless of the dates and conviction. So if you were like smoking hash and got and got arrested for that, even though
Or a DUI for doing that. Yeah.
a
Bad.
DUI or whatever, just be honest on, because the
But two things.
judiciary system is linked to professional licenses.
Yeah.
And if you hold a professional license, and I, like myself, and I get arrested for a DUI, guess who gets notified? The California Department of Teaching Credentialing.
Yeah. And so a couple of things. Just face the music. I know a lot of people who've, this has happened too.
Yep.
And they had to make a different choice on the way to a certain career. I know people who this has happened while they're in their career, and their district just approached them and said, how do you, what do you want to do? And they didn't get fired. So it just kind of depends. Plus the laws that are changing the felonies to misdemeanors, there's
Right.
this flux of stuff. Sometimes the point is just face the music, because if you try to hide it,
They'll find you.
Yeah, I know somebody who applied at Disney and tried to hide it, and then they said no because you lied. Disney.
They are more concerned about your integrity than they are about, because your integrity speaks louder than
Mhm.
what you did.
Right. And plus,
If you're not truthful about this, what else are you not truthful about?
right.
It opens a door to suspicion,
Right.
and we just don't want to do that. Child abuse and neglect. If you must report, if you're convicted of something that child abuse or whatever, definitely for sure you won't get a permit. But you also have to say that I agree and verify that you understand your reporting requirements and duties as a mandated reporter, which is if you suspect or have any reason to suspect, you report. That's all you do. It is not your job to interview the child. It is not your job to find out what happened, who else saw it, who did it. If you suspect, my neighbors are screaming and yelling at their kid and calling them a dumb F and all this other stuff, I'm sorry, that's child abuse. Am I mandated reporter? Yeah. Should I report this? Yes. Did I report that? Nope. But should I have? They moved out of state and that solved the problem. But, I watch these, I'm still in contact with those people, and the kids are messed up. So you can see the consequence weighs heavy on my heart that I could have done something. And they wouldn't have taken the kids away, but that family could have gotten counseling and support when they needed it.
Hard. It's a hard one.
And so that's a hard one. There are moral and ethical decisions that we have to make every day when we work with children. And it is imperative, because this child was a 2-year-old at the time, and now they're 12, and their life's messed up. How might that child's life have been different if that family had gotten services?
Right.
And gotten help?
Okay.
And teaching 220 has taught me that it's really important. And we know now so much more about trauma. And 15 years ago, I didn't know what I knew now. And my choice would have been completely different, because social services takes it from there. And that's now their job. My job is only to report. So, okay. So employing agency information, they're going to go, who are you employed by? The oath and affidavit, I swear, just sign your name. And then you're going to have to turn in an official transcript, but they now are accepting, right here it says electronic versions and e-transcripts, much faster, much cleaner. You don't have to worry about, oh, shoot, I opened up that envelope. But I will say, you do want to always have especially as you get closer to your degree or once you earn a degree, order your transcripts and always keep one to open, because you can look at it and use it as a copy and say these are unofficial transcripts, and have a sealed copy of your transcripts, because it could take, especially now these days, it could take a while to get an official copy of your transcripts. You have to go to the college and request it, or they mail it to you. And the first 2 copies of your transcripts are free. So you don't want to blow that on, I just want to see what they look like, especially if you're far away from a degree. But once you get your degree, look at your unofficial transcripts online. If everything is in order, order a sealed set of transcripts and just keep them in that portfolio thing that I told you about. Like, I have transcripts from 1977 that aren't even computerized, and they have to go, I think they have to go on an archaeological dig to find them.
Like Indiana Jones for that one.
Yeah, it is. But a lot of times they're only interested in your most current, your culminating degree. So fees. So don't send cash, of course. There's, they tell you about, so application fees, you'll have to pay for that. You'll have to get fingerprinted. And within this form, there is a request, because the state, the Child Development Training Consortium will reimburse you for one of the 2, the live scan. They won't reimburse you for the processing fees, but hey, better than nothing, right? So if it costs you $100 to get your fingerprints rolled, and even if you've had them rolled 25 times, agencies don't share information. They're working on it.
Yeah.
They're getting close, but anytime you change jobs, you know, or you're applying for a permit, you're going to have to get fingerprinted again. They're getting close. There's a way around it if you're just going from one school to the next, but I'm not going to go into that right now. So the minimum current state law sets a minimum processing of 50 days, but with COVID, we know that's all. So then online credential view and print process, you can do that. So before you seal the envelope and submit your application, which is not an online, this isn't all, you're going to have to print out this form when it's all done, sign it, put in your exam scores, ignore that, completed application, your professional fitness explanation form, you're going to have to do that, which just basically says professional fitness. It's noted, it has to do with this area has to do with the criminal type stuff. Did you have any pending criminal information? Were you dismissed or fired? And then it says describe what happened, and that's it. And then if you have the professional fitness is really about any legal things that have happened to you, or if there's been an investigation that you were involved in, were children involved. So they're going to be looking at this, and it explains pending charges, criminal conduct. This is just stuff we have to protect our children. Talks about fines. If you have a license, like if you have a credential, you're going to have to put your credential number right here. See how everything is all connected.
Another reason to stay super clean in your educational record and your other record.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to have to fill this form out and print it all up. Oh, shoot. That's not what I wanted. Oh, now to go back in here. Oh shoot. What did I do? Okay. So we were on here. We were working through 41.4. That's what we were doing. Okay, so this is the application. So once you get all through all this jargon, now we're into the official application. So you are going to be, and this is for your permit. It's pretty straightforward. You can fill all this in here, save it as a file on your computer. This form, once you close it out, all that information is gone.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that, there's a save as draft, or is there a save button as you go so you don't lose your data?
So file, I have to fix, close, like, I have to update mine. You can export it as a PDF or something like that.
When in doubt,
You
save
can-
it like 10 times.
So, yeah, that is, I can't tell you in my early years how often I did that. So you can just scroll down here and see anywhere there's a purple box, you're going to be putting something. So application, new credential permit. That's what you're doing. And then if you're doing an upgrade later on, you'll click that. So subject authorization, you're not getting a subject, like that would be if you're getting a math, a credential to teach math in middle school. So this, like I said, this form is, look at teaching credential, services credential, emergency permit, substitute permits, and over here, what does it say? Child development permits. This is where we're going to be. Assistant teacher. Bing, right there. So there's so much information on here, but this is like a one size fits all form. It's overwhelming. That's why I'm saying contact us.
Yeah.
If you need help. So here we go. Select authorization subject. Are you a multiple subject elementary teacher? And for those of you who are going into elementary teaching, this is a great primer on what you're going to have to do all that. Again, none of this applies. CLAD certificate, bilingual authorization, skip it. You don't need it, because this is all about, like, in the K-12 system. Don't need any of that. Child development permit renewal self-verification. This is where you're going to self-certify. I talked about that 105 hours of professional development that you have to complete. This says, I understand I am going to have to complete that and have a professional growth advisor. To be a professional growth advisor, I believe currently there is somebody at the Orange County Department of Ed who I am going to say, talk to me because I am a professional growth advisor, or Dr. Lamarelle. You put your professional growth advisor name and their phone number. And this is when you're renewing, not when you're applying. So then back to the professional fitness question that you're going to happen a long time ago. We just went over all that fun. Have you ever, and then it goes back, have you ever been arrested, dismissed? So do you see how, like, so much of this, it's 10 pages and it's scary. The
But a
first
lot
time I
of it
did this,
doesn't,
I was like, holy crap,
yeah,
what
but a
did
lot
I
of it
just
doesn't
do?
apply. So don't freak out. Yeah.
Doesn't apply. So that's why I'm saying reckless driving. If you got a ticket, they don't care. But if you got a ticket for a DUI, they do care. Are you currently the subject of an investigation by law enforcement? Are there any criminal charges? See, like, a lot of this stuff is just, have you ever had a credential revoked, suspended, or denied? You know, a lot of this stuff, it just doesn't apply. Remember, the bottom line is we are protecting our children from people who should not be teaching them because of choices that they made in the past. And if you made bad choices way in the past, it's not fatal, but we want to know about it. So then you sign that, yes, I agree, I'm a mandated reporter. My supervisor or administrator may not interfere with my reporting. Your job is to report. You don't have to tell your supervisor that you reported.
No. And that's hard. That
The
is hard.
social services is going to come out and go, we have a report, and the social services, the individual from the social services sure as heck better not reveal who it is. Now, if they leave their clipboard out and somebody can see it, shame on them.
Right.
And then you report them. And it just says, I agree. Click. And it tells you if you fail to report, this is what can happen. So there are consequences for failing to report. Then you get into the, for all credentials, this section must be completed for all credential, certificate, and permit types where service is restricted to an employing agency. I don't believe you have to do any of this stuff. Before submitting, now go back and review all this stuff. Oath and affidavit. I solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States. You are taking the same oath of office that President Biden took when he assumed the position of President of the United States. This is the exact same one that every elected official takes. You're an employee of the state of California, which is funded by the federal government. And we
Just funded
all
by
take the same oath.
taxpayers, which means the people. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
a big responsibility.
So you can't get around this. You either sign it or you don't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you don't, and that's like it. Now, how scary on a, what I want to know is on a scale of 1 to 10, how scary was this form?
Apparently a 0.
When I did it, when I first looked at it, it was a 10 to me.
Mhm.
It was
a
a
lot.
10 because I'm like, first you see 1 of 10 pages. Anybody who sees that goes, oh, crud.
Yeah, it makes
But then when you start looking at it, it's for early childhood, for our child development. It's really, you click here and then you just, go down to the fitness for duty and answer these questions. Make sure that, and then you go through right here, maybe before submitting, review that your information is correct. You did the professional fitness questions, and you write them a check or a money order. And see credential leaflet for fee schedule. And I don't know what it is. Let's find out. It's changed. Free. Oh my gosh. Application fees. Application type, initial or renewal issuance, 41.4 and online, that's $100. Certificate clearance, that's for teachers, that's 50. Don't let that scare you. Certificate of completion of staff development form, $45. Don't worry about that. Upgrade or eligibility, upgrade child development fees. So when you are ready to upgrade your permit, meaning you've taken GE courses, you've taken more child development courses, it's $50. Add change in.
But that semester, you guys can all apply for $300 from like,
Right.
and you know what they don't tell you is that here there's emergency financial funding, like up to
Right.
$2,000 for
So,
every student.
so you apply for this Rebuild America money is a great thing. And I would like to see, note to self, Marianne, we need to talk about getting this paid for by our department.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is something that our department should pay for to support students. You are professionals. This is part of our department. We need to do this. We need to pay for this fee. To get you guys to get you this, it just needs to happen.
Can I have your permission really quick to send the dean an email and I'll just start the ball rolling?
Yes.
Just start.
Yeah, and you can put the application, put this part in, connect to this page and say, these are the fees. We want to find out how we can get funds for the initial application fee. And then for, I'd actually like to get funding for the part of the fingerprinting fee that is not covered through the reimbursement. So yeah, because they only pay for part of it. And I think you end up paying about $75 for that. That to me can be a lot of money. Okay, so that's it. So now let's go to, I want to look for the matrix. Child development programs, credential information. Where's the matrix? Hang on. Move this down. I think we're kind of done with that. We'll go here.
So what's the
And
total?
now
fee?
you,
What is it right now? It's like $50, $150 plus fingerprinting. So we're looking at maybe like 225.
I would say that's a good, safe estimate. So here is the child development permit matrix. Let's go look at that. Matrix, child development. There we go. We're going to go anyway to it. Not safe. Oh, dear. Okay, here is the matrix. And this is where I said, and I'm sorry if let me try to make it a little bit bigger. So let's look at this. So you're an assistant. Option 1, 6 units of early childhood education or child development. 6 units. Experience required. Zippo. Option. And then they have alternative options. So say you've been a family child, this is the real situation. You've been a family child care provider for 40 years. You kind of know a little bit about child development and taking care of children. So they have these alternative qualifications, accredited, and this is what they are, authorization, and see here, 5-year renewal, 105 hours, must complete. Okay, we'll get to that. So anyway, there are some, you could have your CDA credential, which is a Child Development Associate credential. I do not recommend this because you basically take classes and pay for short classes on the subjects that we would have, but that's as far as they go. You can only get an associate teacher. It's money that you don't need to spend because it gets you nowhere. It really doesn't get you very far. And I am a CDA. I am a child development associate. I go out to the school, observe the applicants, and I have to document their training and then go from there. And I'm the one who that's one of my many hats, but I pretty much have decided I'm not doing that because it's go to school, take the classes at a community college because you're only going to get to right here. So now option 2, you're an associate teacher, 12 units of early child education, including core courses. And then it goes down here and says, that's the core courses, that's a Cap 8. 12 units, and those have to be the Cap 8. You have to have worked 50 days of 3+ hours per day within 2 years. So I like to just kind of ignore this alternative type things, because the only place it really helps you is if you get down here and you're a program director and you have to do all this site supervisor status of 1 year, or you have a master's degree. That's the only thing where I went and then went over here to this alternative. That was the only time I ever used the alternative. I'd rather see you go in and do this right here, this permit, associate teacher, 12 hours, work 50 days at 3 hours per day. 50 days is 2 months of 3 hours a day, or maybe it's 4 months and you're working part-time. It's not a lot of time, but it says you have some experience. Then you get down to teacher. Now here is where we're getting into 24 units of early childhood education, which is all of the Cap 8 courses. So that's 8 courses right there you have to take. 8 courses times 3 is what? 3 times 8 is what? 24 units. Ah, how is that? So you have to take all your Cap 8 courses, plus 16 units of general education. 16 divided by 3 is how many courses? 5.5 GE courses. Don't say which ones. If you're freaking out over taking math, that doesn't have to be one of them yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So some of you may even qualify or be very close to qualifying for a teacher. I mean, an associate teacher. And if you're so close that you're a semester away, my advice is to wait to apply, because you're going to have to pay the $50 to renew. You're going to have to pay for your initial application, and then you're going to have to upgrade to a teacher permit maybe 4 months later and pay the $50 and get fingerprinted and go through all this resubmission of the application again. So timing is something we want to think about in terms of where you are, which is why you have a professional growth advisor. So then when you get into a master teacher, 24 units, same thing, but now your GE units go up, and you have to have these 6 specialization units plus 2 adult supervision units. So do you see how we're grooming you to move up?
Yeah,
Everybody,
and even as this journey, I mean, it looks like these little steps right now. As you get older, your journey gets longer. I mean, your path could, like, you know, change, and you might want to go into something similar or different. And then these all, like she said, you use the word grooming, like it's really these things like that professional growth, the professional and their CEUs, your ongoing CEU. That's for everybody. It's nearly every industry. Even here as a professor, every semester I have to
every
do
semester
every semester I have to do a certain number of hours.
of professional,
Not a year, not for 5 years, not whatever.
not
every-
over 5 years.
No,
every
every
semester.
semester.
Every semester.
Yeah,
And it's
mine's
based
like,
on how many courses we're taking.
yeah, mine's like 25 hours.
Right. And just to be really honest, just by doing, you know, we do workshops, we far exceed those hours. But there are people who, you know, some people have a hard time meeting because it's
You'll find
for
as
every
teachers,
class, it's
yeah.
4.5 hours of professional growth. For every course we teach, it's 4.5 hours of professional growth.
Right.
So we're learning right alongside of you.
Right. And
So you can see how this goes all the way up. Option 1, have an associate's degree as a site supervisor. Now you have to have see how they have the administration units, the adult supervision units. So if you're a supervisor, you sure better know how to do it. So you better take these courses. And maybe you don't ever want to be a supervisor right now, but there may be a point in time when you come back in and say, hey, I want to be the assistant director. This doesn't mean you're going to do this, go through this progression in 4 years. This is a career path. So when you get to these, I wanted to particularly talk about the 6 specializations this here when you're a master teacher. Maybe you go take that 6 specialization in children with special needs certificate, take 2 which I'll leave that alone. I'm not going there. I think it should be 9 units because I think most of our certificates are based on 9 units in the field of like 205, 206, 207.
Yeah.
We're working on a language and literacy certificate that'll have 3 courses in it. We're working on we have an infant toddler certificate. Maybe you want to work with infant and toddlers. Yep. Or maybe you want to work with school age. So do you see how flexible this is? Yet at the same time,
it's like one freeway with many lanes.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're on the right path. You can be in this lane or that lane or this lane or that lane. And then as you go further in your career, it's just a longer freeway. Same thing. And then your lanes can switch lanes, but you're still getting these permits and these levels, and they're building on each other. So whatever you're doing now does matter, does count. Yeah.
See, you don't even need a bachelor's degree until you get to be a program director.
Yeah.
But you have to have 1 year of service, 1 year of supervising employees. So we look at 2 things. We look at your education and your experience. These marry each other, and they both are important. You can read. Think about, would you rather have your child in a program where somebody just read a lot of books and didn't ever work with kids and apply that knowledge?
I love No, we
You
want
want to
highly,
know that they can go do the job, right?
we want
Can
highly
you really do
qualified.
what you read that you're supposed to be able to do? Because of the two, this is the better teacher right here. If you have a good mentor and you have a good supervisor who helps support and develop and helps you develop as a professional, this just tells you theory. You do get a lot of practice in the like 111A, 111B, 108. Those are all great and important, but if you can't apply it, if you don't ever have the opportunity to actually lead a circle time, to actually work with a child who just slugged another kid, whatever you read in the book isn't going to help.
No, got to
It's
get out
not
there.
going to help.
Yeah, you got to
You
be.
got to get out there. You got to have the experience.
Yeah.
So I'm off my soapbox on that. Does that make, can you,
But kids are so cute and they're so fun. I just want to work with kids. They're so cute. Okay, a 4-year-old will smell that on you.
yeah,
And they will push buttons you didn't even know you had. So yes, you need the book, but you also need a lot of experience to put those things together.
right. Exactly. It is a full game package, a full package. It's like getting a massage and they only do your arms.
What? No, and that twinkle in the eye, I actually love 4-year-olds, and that twinkle in the eye when they're starting to get crafty enough to know you, and then like they want what they want, but they start to get like that twinkle in their eye because they want whatever you have, or they'll make it happen. And you have to, that book only helps you so far. You have to be in the mix to hone those skills. So yes, I'm always a big fan. Get that experience.
I have a 3.5-year-old grandson who is at our house every other weekend, from Thursday to Sunday. Long story, and I'm not going to go into it because it's not my story to tell. And it's time to come to dinner. Oh, but I might get cold. And you see the twinkle and it's like, but I'm too cold.
Instead of the subtext is, I don't want to eat right now, I'm still playing.
No, the subtext is I'm playing with my cars and I don't want to be disturbed. I don't want to leave what I'm playing with to go do something else.
They are so funny.
And so had I not had experience with working with children, I would just go, okay, that I mean, so you need to learn the tricks of the trade. And the only way you do that is by getting out there and working with kids.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And talking to other teachers and connecting and saying, hey, I had this happen. What do you think? Have you had this? Talk to each other, talk to people who
what are
have
some
more
options?
experience than you.
What
else can I do?
I do.
You are doing one of the most important jobs there is on the planet. These parents bring their child to you and entrust you with the care of their most prized, I hate to call it a possession, with something that they cherish probably more than anything else in their life. They hand that thing over to you.
Oh yeah.
And your job is to return them in the same or better condition.
Better.
When they fall down and somebody else slugs them, and you're responsible, and what you do has an effect on the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
Oh, by the way. Yeah. Oh, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Can have an effect on the rest of their life because you are lighting the fire for learning in that child's life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Which is why I don't ever want to teach in K-12 school. Give me the college students or give me the little ones, but nothing in between. Because I want to light the fire, and I believe I can do that in those two environments.
Yeah. Me too. You're absolutely right. Give me the little ones who are at that fresh, like wide-eyed and like that piece, or this age where you guys get to go out and do that with them. I'm too old to be getting up and down. So now I'm everything I got. You guys go do that. All right.
Yeah, we'll cheer you on. But my knees are shot. My back is shot.
Down on the floor. I
arms
just
are
can't
shot.
get back up real gracefully.
You know, getting off this ground is not a pretty sight.
It wasn't a pretty sight, not anymore.
You know, it does, you know,
There's
a
a
lot
time.
of time in this field, it does wear and tear on your body, and people don't tell you that. But if you're in the field for 30 years, guaranteed your body knows it.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so questions so far. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that was where we're going.
getting through
Permit.
the permit. This is like your next step in your like adultingness. Like this is your career. It's
And
exciting.
your professional development, which is important.
Mhm.
You want to be a professional. We want the career path of early childhood educators.
Yep.
I've been fighting for 35 years to be seen as not a babysitter. I don't sit on babies. I don't feed them bonbons. I don't watch TV. And as a family child care provider, we are the ugly stepchildren of the early childhood field. Yet some of the best, but 70 or more % of children under the age of 2 are in family child care.
Mhm. Could you guys imagine if you were a kid and Professor Johnson, or what did they call you? Did they call you Miss Jody?
Auntie
Jody?
Jody, or just Auntie. They still call me Auntie, and they're in college and they call me Auntie.
My son calls you Auntie already.
Yeah.
And so could you imagine if this was your teacher, your auntie? That's unbelievable. It's amazing. I love it.
And the odd thing is, Marianne went to school with somebody who was one of my employees. She went to high school with them.
Junior
I
high
had
school. Junior high school.
I had 2 of her children in my program.
And now we're 50.
And some of us are 65. And you know what? It makes me so proud to see
Those girls turned out good.
every single one of my kids in the last group is in college right now. I have 1 high school senior left. Every one of them is one of the most amazing children adults I have ever seen.
It's so cool.
And they're all in college, and they're just amazing. But they were with me 5 to 7 years, something unheard of in the childcare industry. But I chose family childcare because I didn't like what I saw in preschools. I didn't want children sitting down at a table and everybody making a penguin that looks just like a penguin.
That everybody's looks exactly the same because you have to do it this way. No.
I couldn't stomach it. And the other sad thing is that the turnover factor, I believe strongly in continuity of care, and the field turnovers average has not changed. It's about 60% annually in terms of staff turnover. And if we now know about connections and attachment and how early attachment affects later in life, mental health. And I go, no wonder these kids are great. They spent 6 years with a lunatic.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, somebody who said, what do you want to do? Okay, how do we do that? Does that mean we're going to make mud pies and paint our body with mud? Sure, let's go do that.
But today it's like, how do we build a salad, right? It could be anything. That's, you know, always stepping in line with those, what they need to learn, but why not have it, you know, child directed?
What? Yeah. And we've lost that. And the scariest thing is that this new 3-year-old to grade 3 curriculum, we used to say that pre-K was more like kindergarten, and now they're going to do this to our 3 and 4-year-olds, and it scares the crap out of me. It just scares the crap out of me, because a new study just came out and said they put a bunch of kids in a preschool program, state-funded preschool program in Virginia, and those kids had such bad behavior problems in 3rd grade, and by 6th grade they were in serious trouble.
Even though they had a head start.
even though they had a head start
It
and
was just the
had
quality wasn't there.
it, they didn't listen to the kids. They didn't listen to what the kids needed. And I have seen, as an instructional coach of preschool teachers, I have seen many, many times the first thing kids do when they come into a state-funded program is sit down and write their name 5 times on a piece of paper.
Or line
Lined piece of paper, no less.
or line them up against a wall and have them wait for an inordinate amount of time just to put their backpack down.
No,
Doesn't work.
not
I mean,
no,
that's not,
not in my house.
yeah, not on my watch, not on our
Not
students'
on my
watch.
watch and not in my house.
It's
So you have an opportunity to make a profound difference in the lives of children.
Yeah.
It is the most important job other than parenting that you will ever have.
yep. And,
And
we've learned
It's
nothing.
an honor to
It's
be
this.
for parents to trust you with their children, and never, ever, ever forget that it is an honor to take care of those children. And if you come at it with that perspective, then how you treat them changes too, because you behold them as the person that they are. And what it's like, what can you be today? What can you do today? And it's amazing.
And
So
over the
I'm
last
off my soapbox.
Yeah.
I'm off my soapbox.
The other
So
soapbox.
that is the child development permit. Can you copy
What
the
do you mean?
permit and put the document in the chat?
Which
and then
document?
The permit matrix.
Oh, yeah, I can download that. Yeah. Let me get that.
Let's put that in the chat.
Okay.
So that way you can kind of see, and then you have the link to applying for your permit. You have the information for applying for the grant. And I haven't been watching the chat, so hopefully
No,
it
we're good.
just,
Yeah, we're good.
okay, good. It's just contact. I've been motoring my mouth. So what questions do you have? If you're overwhelmed, take a deep breath and think about it, write it down, shoot me an email. I take phone calls, I take texts, I take pigeon delivered letters, I take anything. How can I help you?
Okay, what do you guys need? Maybe everyone's too.
And it may be just time to digest this.
Sure.
I
It's
need to just sit
um,
down and let this all kind of soak in. We give you a
Allie has a
lot of
question?
information.
Allie has a
I
question.
have a question. I'm sorry, it's
Sure.
Norma again.
Yep,
Hi,
Norman.
so
I know, Norma.
I've been listening the whole time, but I need some clarification regarding if I want to specifically work with special needs children. Anything different than from what you have been sharing?
Mm-mm.
Not yet.
The only difference is that it would be when you get down to being a master teacher, then you're going to want to make sure you have those 6 specialization units. You have to have the CAP 8 units, which are the core 8 units. We've gone through them, and
Yes.
we can talk about them. You can talk to Carolyn about that. You can talk to myself or Marianne or Dr. Lamarelle, probably the 3 best sources about the CAP 8 courses.
Okay.
But I think they're even identified in the course catalog as if they aren't, they should be.
Wait, what
The
did I miss?
CAP 8 courses.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
are they
they're in our in the catalog, and they're listed
Yeah.
under, they're just listed, I believe, the AAT, the AST, and then we have our separate certificates that are like the 3 class ones. Some of them are in development, like Jody mentioned, we creating a language and literacy one, which is for multilingual.
That will be my baby.
Yeah. So
Okay.
multilingual learners, and also like you're gonna do like curriculum and actual like hands-on stuff that you can take and use. So
Awesome.
3 classes in development right now, so really excited about that.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, of
And-
course, we always have things
Yeah.
coming, but stay in contact, because I know
Right.
Sometimes Norma's here, sometimes Norma's
No,
here. Yeah.
yeah,
And the
sometimes
other-
Norma hides. She gets so extremely overwhelmed, but Professor Laney has been amazing. So I'm very blessed to
I'm glad to have you
be able to
back.
have her.
I'm glad.
Great.
Yeah, glad to have you back.
You have probably some, I don't know, but when I was in college and the courses that I took, the core team of Miriam, myself, and Dr. Lemerell are probably the A team of student support and really working to help you be successful. Not that the other teachers don't, but they may not have the information about the permit. We just have resources that others don't. And the other piece is that Professor Laney and I and one other person are working together to bring a trauma-informed, resilience-focused, healing-centered initiative to our campus.
Our campus.
I have a master's in trauma and resilience in education, and this has been 8 months of, I'm 8 months pregnant right now, 8.5 now, because we launched it.
With this program.
With this program has been in my head since I got my second master's, and it's really in response to the amount of stress and the historical trauma that people have experienced.
All of us.
And the need to have a nurturing, caring campus that recognizes that just because you didn't turn his assignment doesn't mean it's a zero. It's what do we need? How can we help you? What is it that you need? Providing resources, support in terms of mindfulness things that we can do, and creating resources that students can access themselves on campus to different resources for them, and making that really, we talk about the whole child, but that whole child turns into a whole adult, and we forget that.
Yes. And I think, I mean, sadly but truly, like the weird silver lining here is that, education went sideways. Instead of, teachers blaming parents and parents blaming teachers, we were all like in this like storm of trying to figure things out and realizing it's not one answer or the other, it's both together. And guess what? Both parents and teachers were burnt out. And so there's this piece where, okay, what's the point here? We're having children, we're trying to care for them, we're all frustrated, we're all trying to do something better. So what we're trying to do is acknowledge not just the child's needs, but the people who care for the child's needs. And again, why would I, and why would Professor Johnson prep you guys to go out into the workforce, to be a teacher, to get burnt out? I'm telling you, and I did not even hear the word burnout until I went to graduate school. And that is not fair. That is not fair, because teaching is, again, it's that calling, but it's very challenging. And so you have to really start the balance. You can't learn the balance later. It's like manners. You don't teach your 13-year-old manners. You teach your 3-year-old manners, right? You got to do it mindfully at the beginning, so you have that prepared and supporting you all the way through. Self-care is sustainability. And the fact that we don't, and the fact that we don't really literally teach that hand in hand is ridiculous. So
it's not an option.
Not an option.
It hasn't ever been an option.
Ever.
But now we have the brain science. In the last 20 years, the amount of research on brain and understanding how the brain works has just exploded, and it continues to explode.
Or mental health needs for 20-year-olds.
Right. And we used to think that there was something wrong if you said, oh, I need mental health. There's nothing wrong with it. You're human, for God's sakes. And so it's okay. And so much can be done with just pausing before you act, taking some deep breaths, learning how to engage in mindfulness and mindful behaviors. Get out and walk in nature, go for a walk. There are so many things we can do. And we have to make this huge shift, or we're all going to go crazy.
Yeah, that's
And the
correct.
pandemic proved it.
Proved it. Proved it. Yeah.
It
And so
proved it.
we want to support you all the way through.
Not an option anymore.
Yeah. It is, and it's not an option for us. We're not like, oh, we're not going to support you maybe on Thursdays. No, every day, all the way through. Like, again, we want you to be the healthiest version of what you can be as you go out there to teach children to be the healthy version. It makes no sense for us not to prepare you to go prepare students.
Right.
Yeah,
And
so-
this has not been in the self-care and understanding the challenges that these kids are bringing into the classroom from what their experience at home in their community affects their learning, and it affects how they relate to other people. Yet this has never been in teacher preparation programs before. And so these teachers are, the average teacher in California, I think they quit the profession in 2.5 years.
Well, special ed, 100% special ed, the burnout rate is 2 to 3 years.
Right. But even in the elementary and beyond, there used to be a saying, they get their BS in education to go get an MRS.
Right.
and then they quit the field.
Go get married. I used to say that about my sister. She's majoring in MRS.
Majoring MRS.
Yeah.
Go to college, find your partner.
Yeah.
And or whether it's MRS or whatever it is, but go find your partner and then
There's more to like, yeah, there's more to it.
Job.
Now. Yeah.
But there are things we can do that can feed our spirit and our soul and help us to be such a healthier version of ourselves.
My son actually brought us something very astute the other day as we were wrapping it up. It's about 4 o'clock. He said, because I like sci-fi, and he's like, when you work with kids, isn't that like sci-fi? And I was like, well, what do you mean like sci-fi? He maybe thought they were robots or something. He's like, no, because if you work with them and then they work with their kids, that's like time travel, right? I was like, kind of. I was like, because we were talking about how, matter's neither created nor destroyed. And we also talked about love is neither created nor destroyed. How do you basically take the love that you've received and basically reinvest it? And so we were talking about that. I mean, I have an existential teenager, but I was like, oh, it is like time travel a little bit. So it's the way that you can, to me, it's like, again, an investment in the future, putting money or time or energy into these little teeny tiny banks with legs.
And if you think a 3-year-old isn't capable of understanding it, my grandson's in the car driving up to our house with his other grandma and his mom, and they got in traffic, and he's back there going, deep breath, grandma, deep breath.
3 years old.
3 years old, and he gets it. There is hope for our future.
There is hope. Well, thank you guys for spending your
Thank
time
you so much
with us.
And
love our time together.
So what I want to say to you right now is deep breath, process it as you can, and reach out and come to our major meetings that are the third Thursday during this semester. And this is kind of like, we're trying to get a student club for child development.
But we also want to open the forum and hear from you guys.
Right. We want to hear from you.
Really cool events coming up too. I got us a booth at Imaginology.
Our science,
it's science nights coming up. And then the City of Orange has a parade in May. And we're going to put a booth out there too. So we have 3 events where we can just make some stuff and be involved and try to get back to where I thought we were going to be 2 years ago.
And maybe we'll just make a bunch of deep breath, grandma, deep breath signs and parade around.
Yes.
Who knows?
I did put both of our emails in the chat.
Yeah.
So feel free to contact us at any time you guys. We're here for you.
Thank you so much for your time. I thought, how are we going to fill 2 hours?
I know. So, well, this is like gonna go by like 20 minutes or something.
I know Mary Professor Laney and I talk for 2 hours all the time. We're like two peas in a pod. We just feed off of each other.
You have to-
But on the other hand, we want to be really respectful of your time and just say thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
It is you who are going to make the difference in this world.
And do something nice for yourself this weekend. It's like the weather looks like it's gonna hold up. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Enjoy.
Yeah, even if it's just giving yourself a big hug, take a couple of deep breaths. 3 deep breaths can reset your brain. Just remember that 3 deep breaths can reset your brain.
Yeah. And sometimes for me, it takes like 7 or 8. But yes.
Yeah, but start with 3.
Yeah. Start with 3.
Start with 3, and just remember, when you're stressed, find some place to just take a break. Take a break. Take a break. A 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute break can be life changing.
Yeah. But reach out. We're here for you. We'll see you. We'll see you guys soon.
Okay,
Thank you
thank
both.
you.
Take care. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.